Hello and welcome to Fashion Report Friday with me, Meoni. This is the weekly video series trying to get you the most MGP possible inside the Mandeville Gold Saucer every single Friday when judging begins for the Fashion Report minigame. This is week 228, and this week the theme is none other than Ruins Explorer. The clues individually include Ride the Tides for your helm, Do Rats Fly for your chest, To Adventure for your legs, and Elegant Attack for our necklace. In this video, we'll have a 100 score, an 80 with dies, and the easiest 80 possible. Without further ado, let's go straight onto that 100 score. Okay, nice and simply then for the 100, as you can see, for the helm I went for the Shisui Mengu of Maiming. This is simply any of the helms I was able to access from the Shisui of the Violet Tides dungeon added back in Stormblood expansion. It can be any of these helms, so obviously you're going to be needing to be level 63 or above to be able to actually take part in the 100 score this week. So bear that in mind. However, you can go for any of these, so just go for whichever one your job will allow for, right? Whatever you have at level 63 and above. So personally, I just got whichever one dropped the first time, and it was this maiming one. But yeah, you can go for fending, striking, scouting, aiming, casting, and healing, obviously. For the chest piece then, I went for the replica Sky Rat harness of maiming. This is how you get this. When it comes to selecting your Skyrat or replica Skyrat harnesses, please note that you can actually craft these with leatherworking. So the original Skyrat ones are actually locked to specific jobs. For example, Skyrat harness of aiming will be locked to any aiming job. But if you scroll down, there's also the replica ones that can be equipped by any class in the game level 1 and above. So they're basically the same image. These were added at a much later date and also have much less requirements in terms of crafting materials if we were to compare them. So they're a little bit easier to actually obtain through crafting. This also does mean that some of these replica ones are probably going to cost quite a bit more gil because essentially they are glamour items at this point. But anyway, if you can craft these, go ahead. If not, you're going to have to go and pick one to match your helm. In terms of whatever job you chose, unless you go for a replica one from the market board, so or crafting. Nice and simple. And then for our legs, I went for the survival half slaps, mostly because they're equipable by all classes in the game level 1 and above. And when it comes to actually getting the legs, obviously I went for the survival half slops. Those are actually a level 60 weaver craft, as you can see in here, using rami cloth and stuff like that. This is a little bit more of a complex recipe, but the materials themselves shouldn't go for that much gil these days. There is obviously the linen survival half slops as well, which you could craft, which are also equipable by all classes level 1 and above, and this has much less materials. In fact, these are way easier materials to get, and it's only a level 35 craft, so you should be able to get your hands on these fairly cheaply. If not, just get somebody to craft these. Very, very simple. Or the other alternative actually is the extreme survival slops, which is again another equipable by all classes level 1 and above. It's a level 35 craft, and this also has very similar materials as well, with the boar leather, for example, and steel ingot. Very simple. Any of those three will do for this slot, but there are no other alternatives outside of this. Lovely stuff. And then finally we have our necklace slot, which I went for the Platinum Scarf of Slaying, which is available to all Disciple of War or Magic jobs or classes level 50 and above, and this is how you get that. As you can see on screen, we have the recipe for the Platinum Scarf of Slaying, but of course you could go for the Platinum Scarf of Fending, Platinum Scarf of Slaying, Aiming, Healing, or of course casting. You will notice that these don't actually have any restrictions on them anymore. They perhaps used to, but it's Disciple of War or Magic, so obviously no crafters or gatherers, level 50 and above. So fairly accessible, honestly, and that's a good job because I'm unaware of any other alternatives this week outside of these. So choose whichever one you can get. Of course, if you're actually getting these from a market board, they're going to vary in price, but honestly, things aren't too expensive. and they're not too bad to craft. But of course, you know, not everybody has access to crafters. But yeah, this is probably your best bet. Lovely stuff. So there's our 100 score. There are obviously a few things that let this down, such as the helm, obviously being locked behind a dungeon. But apart from that, for the most part, you can get something equipable by all jobs and classes in the game, with a limitation on level 50. So that's not too bad. However, there are much easier ways of getting your maximum MGP because you only need a score of 80. You don't need a score of 100. So let's move on to the 80 with dyes. Alright, nice and simple with the dyes this week, although there are obviously a few things that are a little bit more expensive. As you can see, we've got an 82 here. You simply get bonus points for having a necklace equipped. So it is what it is. But we can get an 80 guaranteed by having any weapon in the game dyed pure white dye, any helm in the game dyed Dalamud red, any chest and hands in the game dyed soot black dye, and any legs in the game cool yellow, and any feet in the game Calibri pink. If you have those dyes as well as something equipped in every slot, including your right side as well and your left side, obviously you will get an 80 guaranteed, or in this case an 82. Alright, for the easiest 80, it should come as no surprise what we've done here. Essentially, we have ourselves any chest piece in the game and we've dyed that soot black dye, and then we have equipped the survival half slops, which of course is that really basic low level weaving recipe, a level 35. This is equipable by all classes level 1 and above in the game. So half slops and soot black dye on a chest. Not particularly difficult, and you'll notice that we're actually getting bonus points just for having something in our necklace and our helm slot. These particular items don't have any value whatsoever, but you still need to have something equipped in every slot. You need to have something in all of these slots. You can't just have something omitted, otherwise you won't get this score. If you want to be extra specially careful, you could of course dye any hands in a game soot black as well, and that'll give you a couple of extra points, but honestly you shouldn't need to if you follow this exact route. So this is any chest in a game, soot black dye, and then the survival half slops. Alternatives obviously to those survival half slops do include the linen survival half slops as well as the extreme survival slops. All of those are also Weaver Craft. One of them's level 35 and the other like 60, as we said. So obviously go for whichever one is most appropriate to you, but this is the best way of getting 80. The minimum score required for the maximum MGP rather. Yeah, nice and easy, really. Good for alts, this one. Quite a good week, honestly. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like. Obviously, go to the link in the description of this video and give the Reddit thread where this is theorized each and every week a thumbs up. That I'm sure people there would appreciate that. And yeah, thank you very much for 228 episodes of Fashion Report. Make sure you've got your MGP buffs on. That's definitely something I will advise for your FC or otherwise, and make the most of Make It Rain whilst it's here. Much love, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.